The Dallas Cowboys picked up a big-time 31-28 win on Thanksgiving over the Kansas City Chiefs, and this win was fueled by Dak Prescott and this offense with some clutch plays in the fourth quarter to end up helping drive this win home for Dallas. Dak ended up finishing up with 320 yards passing with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, which came on his second pass of the game. But again, he more than made up for it with his fourth quarter performance. And this wide receiver duo of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens is becoming as dynamic as any duo in the NFL. And I think they have an argument to be the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. So with all of that, let's waste no time and dive right into the film and talk about how Dak was able to help engineer this big-time win on Thanksgiving. First completion of the game for Dak is off of a bootleg, but it was not as easy as they would have liked it to be. This was really well read by the end here. It was a nickel player kind of playing off the bootleg. This is kind of a QB's worst nightmare when you're coming out of your bootleg and this guy doesn't really bite hard on the run fake, so you're not able to really get out and make an easy throw. It ends up going to CD on this, kind of quick out route that he ends up running here. But it's a very hard throw for Dak to have to make again because of the pressure bearing down on him. Has to throw it off of his back foot. But the pass still gets in there and it is a completion. Sets up 3rd and short there on their very first drive. Now, what I really loved about this game from Dak was that it started with some real adversity, right? On the second pass that he throws in this one, he throws an interception, and it's his only interception of the game. He made, I think, a handful of bad reads in this one, but this one in particular obviously was the most costly with the interception. And I think it's twofold. I really want to start breaking down the pass protection first, because I think that really kind of sets off, a handful of mistakes that I think lead to this interception. So looking at the pass pro here, there's a lot of guys walked up here on the, in the box, very close to the line of scrimmage. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down linemen. Nick Bolton is basically walked up at this point. 21 and 27 both potentially could be blitzing. So there's a lot to diagnose here. I think, as a quarterback, your antennas have to go up. You need to think potentially you're going to have to be hot on this play just because you're not going to have enough bodies really to block everyone. So what ends up happening here on the snap of the ball, you get essentially a simulated pressure, right? Because 54 and Chris Jones, 95, actually both end up dropping into coverage. So this actually only amounts to being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man pressure with, I believe this is Leo Chenal dropping into coverage. Chris Jones actually drops to the other side of the field. But again, still too many to block with Ferguson going out on his route. The Cowboys are actually sliding away from where the pressure came from, so that obviously makes it even harder with Cooper Beebe sliding to the side where people are dropping to. So with that in mind for Dak, again, that internal clock has to be moving a little bit faster. Now, I also would like Terrence Steele here to pick up the most dangerous man. Ideally, you don't want someone to be, running at your quarterback in the fastest gap possible. So with these two guys in particular, like the path to get there is faster for one of them. One of them has to kind of bend more of the outside. One of them can shoot directly inside to Dak. So I would like Terrence Steele to get into his kick slide here and realize that he has 2 coming and shut the door on the inside and let this guy on the outside be the free rusher. Now, obviously, that isn't what happens here. And again, the pressure gets there even faster than I think Dak would like. And that lends to him getting hit and helping the interception. So now if we go back out to the wide copy here, on top of everything that's going on from, trying to understand what's going on from a blitz perspective, I should say, there's really exotic coverage being played on the back end. My best guess is that this kind of looks like some version of, cover 4, some type of match defense, but it's really hard to tell, honestly, with everything going on the back end with some of the drops that we're getting. But from a route perspective here, he's trying to get this ball into George Pickens, who's going to be running a flag route, and then you have Turpin here on kind of a speed out underneath it. Where I think this ball realistically should go probably is just to Fergie on this check down here that he runs. Just kind of a little sit route. Hindsight being 2020, I think Turpin is probably the best read, but again, it's so exotic. It happens so quick. it's easy for me to say watching the film back, but from this given look and just some of the unknown that you would have from a pass protection perspective, how fast this hits, I'd like to see this get to the check down quicker. Dak obviously tries to force it on the sail route to Pickens, and it isn't able to get there because this corner is sitting on it the whole way, right? Like, he drives all the way back, and he continues to drop. So again, this is why I think it's kind of quarters E looking, because you get, again, 54 who dropped out on the line of scrimmage, kind of playing out to the flat. You've got Chris Jones kind of playing out across to the other flat, and then you have 1, 2, 3, and again, this corner would make 4. And this safety actually ends up driving on this post, which again is looks kind of match coverage-esque. But again, nonetheless, this corner does a really great job of sitting on the route. The ball isn't thrown as great because of the pressure. And again, he's really trying to force it into the spot he doesn't need to. Ends up being an interception. And sets the Cowboys back early on. This ends up turning into a really easy Chiefs touchdown. So the Cowboys have to fight from behind early. And again, that's what I think made this game so good for Dak, is that he stayed composed throughout and was able to deliver really a masterpiece of a game despite, kind of a pretty ugly start. Dak and George Pickens have really gotten a great connection going up to this point in the season. And it seems like he really understands what Pickens does best. And one of the best routes that he runs, you can make an argument he might be the best, slant route runner at this point in the NFL. And he knows right away where he's going with this football, particularly because of the leverage that Pickens has here. So this ends up being zone coverage, but that's not as important because he sees that Pickens has the inside leverage here. So on this quick slant, on the snap of the ball, Dak immediately just fires it in. There's no real hesitation to it. He knows his guy has got the leverage that he wants, takes the slant, and then ends up being a nice 10-yard chunk. And him and Pickens just really have a great understanding right now of where the ball needs to be, when to get him the ball, and their connection on top of him and a now healthy again CD is what's helping to fuel this Dallas offense being as potent and as dangerous as anyone in the NFL at this point. Another example here of Dak in full command of the entire offense. You see, gives the hard count, with, again, a very heavy pressure look, wants to get into something probably man-beating. So, again, makes the audible here. You're going to see CeeDee Lamb now goes into the slot. So he's now the number 2 matched up here against Trent McDuffie, the Chiefs' 2-time All-Pro. And he really had the best of McDuffie for most of this game. This ends up being a sail route here from CeeDee. So does a great job of really selling it vertically, getting hip to hip with McDuffie. Quick, sharp break to the outside. Dak puts the ball exactly where it needs to be. But again, the command that he's showing, getting into the play that he would like. Blitz does end up, coming a little bit of a stunt there. But great route from CeeDee, timely ball from Dak, easy 10-yard hookup. And again, CeeDee was really beating McDuffie consistently throughout this game. His touchdown to CeeDee Lamb was one of the best passes of the day, in my opinion, for multiple different reasons here, right? So from a coverage perspective on defense, this is going to be 2-man under. So you're going to have man-to-man coverage here, man-to-man here, man-to-man here, and where the ball ends up going is, again, this one-on-one matchup between CeeDee and Trent McDuffie. Split field safety, dropping out, trying to guard everything over the top. Now, Dak does a great job of holding this safety with his eyes to try to preserve that one-on-one matchup with CeeDee, which is, again, where the ball ends up going. On top of the fact that he has pressure in his face and has to deliver this ball while taking a shot, and it is a perfectly thrown ball. It's also a fantastic route from CeeDee Lamb there at the top of the screen. It's kind of a, almost a triple move, hitch and go. Get the slide, shimmy, sell the hitch. Great ball there by Dak, and ends up delivering a strike for a touchdown. And this is even prettier, really, again, from that end zone copy, because as I mentioned, he does a great job of holding the safety, and you can really see it from here. So on the snap of the ball, he's going to look like he's kind of keying and eyeing this vertical route from Ferguson that Bolton and that safety are kind of tag teaming on trying to cover, and that holds the safety there towards the middle of the field. Again, preserves that one-on-one on the outside with CeeDee. So again, just really watch his eyes here, looking at the safety, kind of looking at that vertical route. Now turns it out, looks at that one-on-one matchup on the outside, preserves it one-on-one for CeeDee, trust your guy, deliver a strike while getting hit. Really can't ask for much better execution from QB and receiver there. Later in the game, 4th and short, gotta have it for the Cowboys. Dak sends Ferguson in motion, sends him back out gets a beat for what they're doing, hard count. You see points over to him. Now understands that with, again, all of these guys lined up, kind of on the line of scrimmage with Spagnuolo. Sometimes they're all going to come. Sometimes they're all, a lot of them are going to drop out. It's got to be a really quick diagnosis of what's going on that side of the ball. Now, Ferguson is running a really quick speed out, and he actually is going to be covered by Nick Bolton. So a ton of space there for him, and it opens up really quickly. So once Dak sees this slot corner ends up coming on this blitz, DN doesn't drop out. He knows he has this out right now. Gets him the ball quickly, timely, under control. There's no rush, nor is there hesitation, right? It's just playing within the flow of the game. So again, sees the blitz, knows the out is there, gives him the ball, picks up the 4th down, about 4th and 5. A really big pickup there at midfield. He's in just total control and command of this offense. Now, if any of y'all watch the QB school, shout out to JT over there. He's really big on anticipation throws. And this one with pressure is a big-time anticipation throw. Again, you're getting a pressure look from Kansas City. The pressure does end up coming. This ends up being a 6-man pressure. Tough again because the line is sliding away from where the 4-man side of the pressure ends up being. So you are going to have a free runner coming through that B gap. But Dak does a great job here. You see he's already pretty much about to separate with the ball to throw this curl route to Pickens, who, again, also does a great job of separating and coming back to the ball to make this catch. But this is a tough throw, not just because of the distance it has to travel, but again, he has to take a shot to get that ball off. Does a great job of throwing it on time with anticipation. So running it from, start to finish here. He's throwing the ball right now, right as, George Pickens has already just begun to, plant his foot into the ground and come back. So the ball is perfectly on time while he's having to take a shot. That's the type of stuff that separates good quarterbacks from great quarterbacks and even elite quarterbacks. And I think Dak is playing at an elite level when you think about all of the things that he's had to navigate this season with CD missing some time, the continued emergence of George Pickens, and he is just dealing with the best of them this year. It's maybe the best season Prescott has ever played. Quick diagnosis and timing. It's what Dak is playing so well at this year. You have the motion in, and again, all-out pressure from Kansas City. As soon as he diagnoses it, immediately turns, gets the ball out to the slant on Pickens on time, who this run after the catch is ridiculous. I mean, the spin out, hurdles him, man. If he lands, this is an all-time play. If he's able to land and get that in for a touchdown. But the route is crisp, it's clean, and the ball is on time against the pressure. He continued to make Kansas City pay for blitzing him every single time. And the route is really one, if you watch this, here on the bottom of the screen, he's going to give one quick outside step and get to the slant, and that immediately gets Pickens open. So right there, gets the outside leverage, the inside leverage that he needs for the slant. Spins out, you get the run after catch again. Getting the ball to him and CD is always going to be, a big time play with how dynamic both of them are. Arguably the best receiver duo, in the NFL going right now. This two-play stretch is my favorite two-play stretch of the game because it comes right after Mahomes just drove down the field to tie the game, or I think take the lead, and really had a lot of those Mahomes magic-esque throws where he's scrambling all over the place and ends up scoring a touchdown on something completely out of structure. So Dak said, if you can do it, I can do it too. Steps up in the pocket, scrambles around, hits Javonte on the run for a 3-yard touchdown. I mean, that is just, that type of out-of-structure creation is necessary to be an elite level talent at this point in the NFL, and Dak is putting it on display here again. I think this might be his best season as a quarterback, and he's just doing it across the board, in structure, out of structure, deep passing, short motion, screens, go balls. He's hitting and firing on all cylinders. Very next play of the game, 2-point conversion to push it to a 7-point game. Dak does it again with the out of structure creation. This is kind of a spacing concept where you've got the tight end running kind of a sit route here, double out routes from CD and Flanoy. Javonte runs a kind of a check down hitch route, same thing with Pickens there at the top of the screen, And this is really well covered from Kansas City. So on the snap of the ball, I'll pause it. There's nothing open. Dak is at the top of his drop. Both out routes are covered with leverage. Ferguson is well covered. Javonte, by the time he gets back to him, you could argue he could fire that ball in there, but it's going to be a tight window, tight grab. Maybe it gets broken up. On top of the fact, left tackle is getting beat. Pocket is kind of collapsing a little bit into his lap from a depth perspective. Sees that, understands he has to get out, spins out of a sack. Now knows that he has Pickens on the outside, and this is a dart right on the numbers outside where Pickens can get the toe tap. Ends up picking up a big-time 2-point conversion. So back-to-back plays really made by Dak Prescott's playmaking ability out of structure. So again, hits his drop, nothing's there, has to spin out of a sack, throws on the run to Pickens. Big-time play to get the lead up to 7 points in this one. Last play I'm going to show, this one iced the game. Nothing too flashy, nothing crazy, but again, on-time delivery to Pickens on the slant. Picks up the first down that lets the Cowboys get into victory formation on this one. Very simple two-route concept here on the top of the screen. You're going to get a swing route from Javonte, and you get that slant route from George Pickens, which ends up going for 12 yards. Again, only 3rd and 2, only needed 2, picked up 12. Put the game away for the Cowboys and let them get into victory formation. And simple one-step drop, sees this defender widening out with the flat, knows Pickens is going to be able to come in behind it on the slant, so just needs that window to open. So Dak holds it for a beat, and as soon as he's able to, get pretty much even with the defender that's widening, he can rip that ball right behind his ear, puts it on Pickens, ends up picking up the big first down, and that ends the game for the Dallas Cowboys. Big time win on Thanksgiving. If you enjoyed this film breakdown, please be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss another upload. Let me know what you think about Dak in the comments. Do you think that he is worthy of being in the top 5 quarterback conversation, or is he still just on the outside of that? Is he playing at an elite level in your observation? Let me know what your thoughts are. As always, I appreciate you, and I'm out.